Hey everyone, have you ever started a new fitness routine only to give it up after a certain amount of time? Well, if your answer to that question is yes, I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, and I know how frustrating it can be. In this video, we're going to talk about how to build an active lifestyle and how to actually stick to it. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Teddy. I'm a teacher turned entrepreneur. Outside of this channel, I am a diver, I am a surfer, I'm a runner, I'm a cycler, gym lover, I am an active outdoor enthusiast. I decided to make this video because I have been fortunate to have played sports my entire life. I've been an active person my entire life, and I've gained a lot from it. I've learned how to be organized, I've learned how to be structured, and I've learned how to be disciplined from all of these active activities that I've been doing for such a long time. I thought that by making this video, I could share some tips on how to build an active lifestyle and how to shape your identity in the hopes that you guys can implement them into your own life and benefit from them. I understand that my story is not the same as everyone else, and that maybe you didn't grow up playing sports, or maybe you didn't grow up doing physical activities, and maybe you've tried to get into them, and maybe you've tried to incorporate them into your life, but haven't been as successful as you may have wanted. Well, look no further. This is the video that's going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you how to build an active lifestyle in just 3 easy steps, and in the process, you're going to build something that is not only sustainable, but is something that you enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Thus far, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this journey of designing a life of purpose. You've seen videos on various topics so far, and I hope that there have been some gems that you can take and apply to your life. If there's been anything that you find of value or you are interested in any of these topics, please, it means a lot if you can comment on my videos, if you can share them, and if you could subscribe to my channel. I'm going to begin this video by talking about 3 things that make it difficult to build an active lifestyle. The first thing that I'm going to share that makes building an active lifestyle challenging are unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations are a hindrance to most people because when you get excited about starting a new routine or building a new habit, you have all this motivation and this energy, and you want to just go 0 to 100, and then you end up just burning out, and then you end up giving up on your routine altogether. This proves to be detrimental to your motivation and to your self-esteem because in the beginning you thought that this was going to be a new version of yourself, but in the end just didn't end up panning out the way you expected. Unrealistic expectations are tough because you do have all this motivation, but you're not exactly going about it in the right way. One of the issues with this topic specifically is that a lot of people want to see very quick and fast results. That's a natural thing. People want to get those 6-pack abs tomorrow. People want to shed some weight tomorrow. If we could do those things tomorrow, that would be absolutely great, but that's not the case. This is the long game, and it requires a lot of time, patience, and energy. Once you get that down and you reset those expectations that you have, then the rest of the journey can be a little bit easier for you. You have to understand that you're not going to see progress overnight, but that it will happen over time, and if you decide to stick to it, eventually you will see progress. The key is just not to give up. The second thing that makes building an active lifestyle challenging is a lack of time. Now, I think this is something that we can all relate to. We all lead very busy lifestyles, and somehow, some way, we always find ways to fill our plates with things that maybe don't need to be on our plates. This world is full of distractions. We live in an attention economy. We want quick results, quick dopamine hits, and those things actually are detrimental as well to building a lifestyle that we want because they take away from the time and energy that we should be spending being active. But I'm here to tell you that short, quick workouts and routines are just as great and important as longer workouts and routines. The question to get your mind going is, when's the last time you redesigned your day routine or your weekly routine? Have you actually assessed where you're putting your time and energy? If building an active lifestyle is a priority for you, I highly suggest that you look at your week, look at your day, figure out where you're putting your time and energy, and assess whether those are your top priorities, and if not, figure out where you can put that time and energy. The third and final thing that makes building an active lifestyle difficult is that it's just not enjoyable. I've heard so many friends and family talk about routines that they've started, activities that they've decided to try out, but that they just don't have fun with and eventually abandon. It's totally understandable if you pick up an activity and you have the intention of sticking with it, but you just don't have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, then there's nothing wrong with abandoning it. Don't force yourself to do something that you're not enjoying just for the sake of doing it. Go out there and explore. There's so many different activities you can do to build an active lifestyle that are unconventional and could be dependent on where you live. But go out there and experiment and find that thing that you enjoy so that it doesn't feel like a chore. So now that we're aware that unrealistic expectations, a lack of time, and something not being enjoyable are the reasons why it may be difficult to build an active lifestyle, I'm now going to introduce 3 easy steps to help you cement that active lifestyle that you've always wanted. So let's get into it. The first step, and arguably the most important, is to start small and stay consistent. I will repeat that again. Start small and stay consistent. Consistency is king. It is one of the things that I live by. It is one of the things that I will die by. And it is a concept that comes up in multiple books about habits, success, you name it. It is incredibly important and is that secret sauce, that key ingredient in succeeding and achieving in whatever you want. Staying small is important because this is the key to building lasting habits. You don't want to lead yourself to burnout by going too hard, too fast, or going too big or setting these unrealistic expectations. You want to start small and gradually introduce these new behaviors and activities into your life so that eventually they become ingrained into your lifestyle, into your routines, and that you're no longer having to make decisions about doing these things. It's important to remember that 1% increments can lead to great change over time. It doesn't have to be huge, moving mountains every single day. Focus on the small and focus on being consistent. In my humble opinion, being consistent is more important than the actual work itself. So there will be days when you don't want to show up. There will be days when you're tired or when you're sick or you just don't feel like going. Those are the most important days when you actually should show up, because when you build that consistency, you stack evidence and you actually train yourself to exercise your willpower, which is a muscle just like any other part in your body. By exercising your willpower, by being consistent, you gradually get better at pushing yourself over time. So once you complete step 1, which is to figure out how you're going to start small and gradually introduce these new activities into your life, then the second step is to select a time of the week that you want to do these activities and to be active. This is an important step because if you schedule it at a time when meetings pop up or friends and family reach out or other things come up into your life, there are going to be many scenarios where you potentially abandon your activities because you want to do something else, and that will eventually lead to you abandoning the whole routine itself. Don't even give yourself that opportunity. Schedule this at a time during your week where you're not going to have any conflicts and it will be easy and smooth for you to participate in these active routines. Schedule them as if you're about to go out with friends. It's something that you wouldn't abandon. To take it one step further, be ruthless in protecting the time that you've set aside to be active. This involves the art of saying no, which you can check out in another video. By being good at saying no, you can ensure that you're prioritizing your time and your energy and you're doing the things that are going to bring value to your life. In this instance, being active and building great routines. I would also like to add a bit about traveling. A lot of times when I speak to family or friends, they go on trips and they either abandon their routines or they get really disrupted, and it's incredibly difficult for them to get back into those routines when they come back home. I'm here to tell you that there are various things that you can do while traveling. For example, if you're doing various workout routines at home, figure out ways to do them while traveling. One thing that I always do when I'm traveling is I look for local gyms and I get either free passes or I sign up for like a week pass, and I keep those routines going. If I can't go to the gym, then I'll do like an outdoor workout. Sometimes I'll bring a jump rope with me. Sometimes I'll go for a bike ride or for a run. There are many ways to keep up your routines, but you gotta stick with it. Going on trips doesn't mean that you have to abandon your routines, just adapt them a little bit and keep that momentum going. Remember, being consistent is more important than the actual workout itself. Moving right along. Once you've figured out how you're gonna start small and how you're gonna be consistent, and then you figured out the time of day and the time of week that you're going to be active in your life, then what you need to do is actually start doing the activities and celebrate those small victories. Celebrating is important because research shows that the dopamine hits that you get, the happiness that you feel from doing these activities and celebrating them, serves to reinforce those activities and eventually leads to you building those habits. To remind you, building a habit is going from thinking actively to making a decision to no longer having to think when making the decision itself. How can you celebrate these small victories? Well, that looks like different ways, and that's going to be for you to decide. Regarding working out, maybe it means buying new workout clothes. Maybe it means buying a new pair of workout shoes. Maybe it means giving yourself a small treat at the end of the week. Maybe it means taking a day off. Well, whatever it is, it'll have to look different for everyone, but makes sense for you. Just do something that reinforces the progress that you've been making and be sure to keep that momentum rolling. Thus far, we've talked about 3 things that can make building an active lifestyle challenging, and we've also introduced 3 steps to make building an active lifestyle sustainable and something that you'll actually enjoy. Now, I want to talk about identity. One of the major reasons why it's difficult for people to stick to a routine or to build an active lifestyle is because they actually don't identify as an active person themselves. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that not everyone grows up playing sports. Not everyone grows up being active or coming from an active household. That's totally okay, but it matters when you're trying to build an active lifestyle, because if you don't identify as an active person, then you're not going to fully buy into the person that's trying to design these routines and to build this lifestyle for yourself. As you're going through these challenges and as you're going through this experience of building the lifestyle for yourself, you're going to experience a transition from someone who doesn't identify as an active person to someone who does. And there are about 5 phases that you'll experience through this transition. I'm going to briefly mention them right now. So the first part of this transition is the awareness phase. The awareness phase is when you recognize that small actions have the power to change your life. You obviously are here watching this video because you're interested in an active lifestyle and you're curious about what it takes to build an active lifestyle. You already have this awareness, so you want to take that awareness and figure out what actions you need to take to eventually get to that point that you're trying to reach. Everyone has their own unique journey. Don't get caught up comparing yourself to others online or being very active. Ask yourself, what does being active look like to you in your own life? Once you become aware, then you transition to the next phase, which is the experimentation phase. You're going to go out and figure out what actually do you enjoy doing and what activities make sense for your own life. As you go out and experiment, ask yourself, how do you feel during these activities? And even more importantly, do these activities mesh with the rest of your life? Do you have any types of injuries that may not jive with these activities? Go out and experiment and figure out what is best. After you begin experimenting and you narrow down the list of activities that you could potentially add to your routine, then it comes to the building habits phase, which is arguably my favorite part. This is fun because it's challenging. You're grinding and you're trying to force yourself to show up every single day, and you're fighting your mind and all of this resistance and the will to not do it. But this is where true growth is formed, and this is where your identity is actually being molded. Building habits takes time and patience. It'll not happen overnight. It won't happen in 3 months. It may not even happen in 1 year. Once you start these activities, just tell yourself that you're going to be doing them for the rest of your life. If you truly want to be an active person, this is the understanding that you need to internalize to be able to become that person. I will remind you once again, the most important days are the ones where you don't want to show up. Consistency is key. When you recognize yourself in those moments where you don't want to show up or you're feeling not as motivated, force yourself to go out. Even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes, go out and get that W just because you showed up. Once you stick to those habits and you put enough time and energy, you'll eventually move to the next phase, which is the identity shift phase. This is where the true change happens and where you start to actually become an active person and you identify as that person and you feel like that person. By this time and in this phase, your language will start to change. You'll start talking like an active person. Your actions will start to change. And then a lot of the decisions that you'll be making in the future will be because you are an active person. It might be decisions that you make related to alcohol or food. You're now more conscious of what you're putting into your body. Maybe decisions on staying out late. You realize that by staying out late, it's gonna potentially mess up your next day and potentially get in the way of your routine. You start thinking and acting like a active person, and that all has to do with the fact that your identity is shifted. And then lastly, the last part of this transition is the advocacy phase. You've now identified as an active person, you've seen the benefit that it comes to your life, and now what you want to do is you want to advocate on behalf of this lifestyle. You want to share it with family and friends, and you want others to experience the same benefit and value. In this phase, you will see the profound effect that it's had on your life, and then when you're able to share it with others and you see the effect that it has on their life, it becomes even more enjoyable. So that's a wrap. 3 easy steps for building an active lifestyle that you'll stick to and enjoy. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel and watching all of my videos. I would love to know, what is it that you're going to do to build an active lifestyle in your own life? Drop some comments and I will respond to them. And until then, I'll see you guys next week in my next video.